products. And so first of all, the concept we're going to be discussing today is the square of a sum. And so if you look at that, they actually have a key concept box where they talk about the square of a plus b. And if you notice here where it says here in symbols, a plus b quantity squared. Now we learned how to FOIL that out. That's what a plus b times a plus b is. Okay, when we FOIL that out, it actually has a special product. So it's the first term squared and the last term squared. And then it's twice the product of the first and the last. So twice the product of A and B. Okay. So first term squared, last term squared, twice the product of the two. So really what that's saying here is that it would be first term squared, which is right here, okay, last term squared, which would be 5, right? And then what did we say it was going to be? Twice the product of 3x times 5. And so that way you don't necessarily need to go through the process of FOIL if you just remember first term squared, last term squared, twice the product of the two. So let's calculate that. If I square 3x, that means I square both the 3 and the x. So what does that give me? 9x squared. Let's figure out what we have here. I have a 2, a 3, and a 5. What's 2 times 3 times 5? 30. And then I still have an x. And then 5 squared. 25. So now this is one of those things. Do you have to use this or could you FOIL? You could actually FOIL and that would be fine. Okay, but first term squared, last term squared, twice the product of the two. So let's go ahead and look at another one. Okay, 4x plus 7y quantity squared. So let's review what that was. First term squared, so 4x quantity squared. Okay. Last term squared, 7y quantity squared. And then what do I do? 2 times 4x, 7y. Yep. So now all we have to do is calculate that out. 4x quantity squared is what? 16x squared plus 2, 4, and 7. 2 times 4 times 7 is?
Oh, is it 4 times 7 first?
Well, 2 times 4 is what?
8.
Times 7.
56.
56. There we go. Notice here I have an x and a y, so that also goes in the middle. And then 7y quantity squared is what?
49.
49y squared. And there you go. Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk about the square of a difference. And if you look at that, the only difference is that now we're going to have a subtraction sign between the two. So if we have a subtraction sign between the two, the only thing it affects is the middle term. My middle term now becomes a minus 2ab. So let's go through that. We have x minus 2y quantity squared. So I take first term squared, which will be x squared. Okay. Last term squared, which will be 2y quantity squared. Okay. I see a minus here, so that means I'm going to do minus 2 times x times 2y. Okay, so I have x squared minus 4xy plus 4y squared. Nice job. What do you think? Not too bad?
It's Basically, the only thing you do different is just putting minus.
The minus sign? Yep. All right, so you try this one for me. Okay, 2m minus 5n quantity squared. All righty, nice job. Okay, so when you square the first term, you get 4m squared. The middle term, twice the middle term, should be 20mn. And then last but not least, 25n squared. So you guys did a great job on that one. Okay? So let's go ahead and look at another one. Now this one's the product of a sum and a difference. Okay, so first of all, we've done a plus b quantity squared. We've done a minus b quantity squared. Now we're going to do a plus b times a minus b. Now this is the thing with a plus b times a minus b. Look at what I get. All I get is a squared minus b squared. Okay, the middle terms actually drop out because one is positive, one is negative. So all that means that I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the first terms, and then I'm going to multiply the last terms. So let's start with the first terms. 2x squared times 2x squared. That's my first quantity. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the last term squared. Okay, so what is 2x squared, that quantity squared? 4x to the fourth minus 9. And there you go. Now these are actually called conjugates. Okay, they've got a special name. Conjugates. That means they're identical except for the sign between the two. So let's go ahead and look at an example. Oops, go back. So 4c plus 7d times 4c minus 7d. So once again, remember what I said, first times first. So 4c times 4c, another way to write that is 4c quantity squared. Okay, minus 7d times 7d, which would be 7d quantity squared. So what will my final answer be?
16c squared.
16c squared minus
49.
d squared. Good job. Okay, so we've looked at 3 special products today. So your assignment then, oops, is on page 489. I need you to do 12 through 48, the evens. Okay, page 489, 12 through 48, the evens.